Alright guys, today we're looking at a game called Shakedown Hawaii on the Nintendo Switch. It's also available on the PS4, on the PC, and on the PlayStation Vita. I've been looking forward to this game for so many years. It is a sequel to Retro City Rampage, the popular 8-bit game, and I can't wait to get into it.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a recce is the gaming tech. Gaming techie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
Alright guys, we're here with Shakedown Hawaii. We're playing this on the Nintendo Switch here. I've already played this game for about an hour and a half or so to get some experience in the game before I show you guys this game off, so I'm not completely clueless going in. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're in the main menu here. You can see you play the story mode. There's arcade challenges and free roam. Let's go ahead and look at the story mode first. You can see my progress is 10%. 22 of the main missions completed out of 126. There's a lot of shakedowns to do, a lot of properties to acquire, challenges to do, weapon challenges, so there's a lot to this game. And as you can see, this game is done in 16-bit style. We're being thrown right in here. I'm not going to show you guys too many spoilers, but we'll do a couple of the missions so you guys get an idea of what the game is like, and what the graphic style is like, because it's really cool. So you can see here. He's talking about a flea market. So it looks like we're going to basically go around the city here and break into some houses and get some stuff that we need and bring them back over here. So, as you can see, you can drive around. Let's see, go find the house to rob. So we need to find a house. Oh, this guy's mad at us. So let's go around the city here. You can see it's obviously very open world. If you guys haven't seen a game, this game before or know anything about it, it's obviously an open world adventure game. You can buy, and I just got the cops on it. You can basically run around and do whatever you want, whenever you want, and just roam the city and stuff like that. You know what? Let's take care of these cops here. So I'm tired of dealing with them. Oh, there's another one. I'm dying here with all these people that are mad at us. There's a grenade for you. Sit down. So let's open up the map here. It gives you an idea of what the map looks like. So this is where we are. And if we zoom out here, you can see the size of the map here. This is obviously a sequel, if you guys don't know. It's a Retro City Rampage, and the map is much bigger than what the old one used to be. You can see the scale and all the buildings and stuff, and the size of this map here. So we're over here. We want to go somewhere. Let's say we want to go. Let's go over here. So you can set a waypoint. Now we know where we're going. Kind of, because it still wants us to get out of here before it tells us where it's going to go. Okay, so here's how we get out of here. Now we can follow the yellow area to over there. And I just really love the art style of this game, and I think that's already become apparent to you guys while just watching a little bit of it. That the Retro City Rampage, that was the original, was obviously the cops are on us again. Was obviously done in 8-bit style. This is now their sequel, and now they're doing it in 16-bit style. So the first game was phenomenal, and this game just continues with that. As far as that goes, I just missed that. You can see the destructibility I was talking about. You can't demolish the houses, but you can demolish everything else, the trees and everything else around it. to really bring some destruction around here. So I think if we go in here, the cops stop following us. Oh, no, we don't. Find stuff to steal. Alright, so we're in a house. Let's see if we find anything. Okay, so we can steal this. Take it to the van. Okay, so we can put it behind the van. Alright, now it wants us to find something else. We got a bunch of houses here lined up. There's actually a guy in this one. So as you're starting to see a little bit, every environment in here is very different from one another. They're all built inside, and you can go in there and explore and stuff like that. There's a bunch of secrets in the game as well, and I obviously haven't found them all. But there's over 200 different places to explore, like different interiors. Over 200 interiors that you can actually enter in the game, and that's just freaking great. There's so many, and it's not just that you can enter them; it's that there's actually variety in them. Because if you can enter them, that's one thing, but the variety in it is what makes it stand out. Let's see if let's take a stroll down. Let's take the van. So we need 300, and here's another house that we can go into. You can see how big this one is and how different it is compared to the other ones. Let's see what we can steal here. Carry that. Take this to the van. I don't know if the houses have multiple things that you're able to steal. Or if it's just one. Nope, they do have multiple. Okay. Good to know, so I'm not wasting my time going back in the houses. Alright, let's find another house. Here we go. A couple of houses here. That TV or computer is gone. Alright, 210. Somebody in here. You can even destroy. If you guys can see, you can even destroy the actual things in here. Which is just freaking crazy. You can literally just destroy this whole apartment right now. The destructibility in this game is a big feature set of what's different than the old game. Because there's a lot of destructibility in this game, and the old game didn't have much of that. And that's a really big feature in this game, and it makes the game so much more fun to drive and shoot things and explore and you know, things like that, because you're able to go through the environment and just create even more chaos. I don't know what these two are doing, shooting at each other or something. Alright, we can steal this guy's TV here. Bounce with that. Alright, so we're good. So let's turn around. Get all these cars out of the way. The good thing with the cops in this game, they're fun to mess with, and they're fun to, you know, tow around with when you're in the open world and stuff. But the good thing is that they stop following you once you actually go into a story mission. It's not going to stop you from doing it. See how that story mission continued? So I actually kind of like that. Sometimes you're going to annoy with the cops and you're trying to lose them and stuff, and it's just more simple to, you know, to let you finish the mission. So I like that they do that. Let you play with the cops when you want to. I got TVs, and this guy's talking about farmers market. So throughout the beginning of this game, at least so far, for the first hour and 20 minutes, it gives you tips and stuff on what you can do around the city. So obviously here it's telling us we can burgle more goods at local pawn shops. So you can go to houses anytime you feel like it now, and go back there and steal the stuff. And now you're going to be able to bring them to pawn shops and stuff like that around the city to collect more money. So. And there it is there. Go inside pawn shops to sell individual items. or unload your whole truck in a pawn shop garage. So. Going through a little bit of the story here. So basically, I set this up a little bit for you guys. Basically, in this game, it's all about businesses. You're basically trying to, you know, reestablish your business because it hit rock bottom, and you're trying to, you know, take over the whole entire city and make your business the most profitable. So this game has a lot of, you know, laughter and stuff like that as far as like taking on like, you know, the one of the first missions I did was like an Amazon delivery truck that they don't call it Amazon obviously, but it's basically they were complaining because they were doing same-day delivery in the game. So it makes fun of like references and businesses and stuff like that, streaming and stuff like that. I'm not gonna spoil everything in the game, but there's a lot of you know, knocks into modern culture and stuff like that when it comes to businesses, and the story is going off of that, and it's a lot of fun and a lot of good comedy in this game, just like the first one already. We'll do one more mission here so you guys get another idea. And then I'll show you guys some open gameplay. Some of the things you can do around all these complicated machines. Alright, so let's go upstairs. Find the collaborators. Damage these. Alright. Did I miss something? Oh, damn. Oops. Great if I actually, you know, right what we were supposed to do. Alright, leave the factory. You can see the assets that we're getting our daily revenue that we're going up by doing different things around the city. So that was a really short mission for that one. I don't want to show you guys and obviously spoil a lot of the game, but this gives you a little bit of an idea of what the missions are like. And let's show you guys some other things. Let's show you guys, for example, this coffee truck here. That's actually right in front of us. Let's see if we can grab it. So, a lot of things are happening around the world that open up as you do these missions, and I'm still going through these missions and getting the same, you know, getting new things to do. But basically one of these is I can grab coffee trucks, and I'm trying to bring it back to this little coffee area. Luckily it was right around the corner because we have a coffee shop here as one of our businesses, and we're stealing coffee trucks so we can get the beans from them and not have to, you know, supply them from anywhere else. So you bring this over here. Did I miss where I was actually supposed to put it? I thought this is where it wanted it, but this may be... This actually has to go to the actual coffee place, so I may actually have to find that myself. Yeah, I mean, it tells you to go to a coffee shop. We're not going to sit here and, you know, go through this all day. This gives you, like, you know, an idea of, like, there's so many things you can pick up and do. Like the Amazon delivery one I was talking about before. You see a delivery truck and you can just, you're trying to demolish it so it doesn't get its delivery. So if we just, like, roam around and we see a delivery truck, I don't know if we're going to find one. That was a terrible idea. But if you see a delivery truck and it looks like an Amazon delivery vehicle, and you destroy it, so it doesn't actually get to do its delivery, so you get more businesses at your retail stores, because obviously they can't make their deliveries. So it's little things like that are all over the place. You can repo cars and bring them back to the garages, and this is just early stuff that I've seen already in the first hour and 15 minutes. They're always introducing new things. A lot of missions to do. I'm only 20 out of 111 so far, and you know, there's all these different stores to go into. Like, I can go into this convenience store, and first of all, these beacons pops up. Pick up guns from them. And actually, here's a shakedown. So I actually went into a store that I haven't actually taken over yet. Basically, a shakedown's like robbing the store, and basically you're trying to increase your business that way. So you can come into a store, and it says, I suspect local businesses with protection. And they're waiting for you outside. Leave the store. Take down the gang members. So this one has a bunch of gang members that are trying to kill them. So let's see if we can, I don't really have a lot of bullets here. So this might not go well. I got lucky that, didn't seem to be that bad for these gang members. I was able to get some bullets there. And now they got hired. You get more income, and now it tells you how many shops you've shaken down, like it did on the main menu there. So now, when you come in here, and now this is obviously your shop, and you can buy hats and stuff like that. A lot of stores let you buy different things and stuff like that. There's food stores. There's even a subway system. There's just a lot to this game to go through, but I wanted to give you guys an idea of what the gameplay is like before, I play this game even more than I already have, and get through the game, so I can give you guys my final opinions on it. One of the other things I wanted to show you, if you could find it. Fashion store. Oh, go-karts. I haven't even seen that yet. We'll leave for you guys to explore that, because I never even saw that. So that's something for me to explore after we're done here. We got a convenience store. Beauty store. There's challenges scattered all over the place. This isn't what I was looking for, but this is an idea that there's challenges scattered all over the place that you can do. Let's see what this one is. Collect the most weapons. So I'm assuming you can collect the most weapons by collecting weapons from these people. Yeah, because if the cops are dropping these things, you can just pick them up. Oh, we got a flamethrower here. We got 20 seconds to get these weapons. Oh, I'm on fire. That's not good. I failed because I died. Because I was on fire. But that's a quick, what these challenges are like. But there's other things that the game does, and like I said, very early stuff here. But let's see. I'm still looking for something specific that I wanted to show you guys, but things are scattered all over the place, and you have to memorize the map. Things aren't exactly pinpoint. I'm sure if I scattered through the map, I'd find it eventually. But because you could zoom in on the map, but it's not like you can zoom in enough where you can tell what the actual stores are. You still need to go visit them. So I thought of another way I can show you guys what I'm looking for. I'll let you guys explore the island or the city for yourself, but I thought of another way we can do this. So if it gives you a little bit of the story there, as far as how the game works, if you go into you go back to the main menu here real quick, you can see that there's free mode. They had this in their previous game as well. Basically, you can come in here and there's not going to be any missions or whatever. You just do whatever you want. You cause chaos, you know, mess with the cops. All that kind of stuff is in there, so you can just play free mode and not be annoyed by any missions or anything. And then there's these arcade challenges. And this is what I was looking for. Basically, scattered throughout the map, there is arcades that you can go into. Kind of like that go-kart place you saw, but these are actual arcades. And they're scattered all over the city, and you can go in there, and they're little mini arcade games that you're playing. You can see that there is a few of these in here, and then there's also weapon challenges in here that you can do, and they all keep your high score and stuff like that that I really like. So there's a lot of cool stuff here to explore. I obviously haven't seen them all yet because I'm still early in the game, but just to leave you guys with one arcade idea. This one is smashing as many of these cardboard boxes as possible. So we're trying to smash these. Also dealing with cops everywhere. Cops are all over you today. I got 8 seconds here. Mission complete. So you can see here I earned a silver medal. And you have to get 4,000 to get the other one, so you can play it again, save your replays, stuff like that. So it's just a cool little thing in the story, and it's cool because it's integrated into the story. These arcade challenges are put on the main menu, so you can easily access them and play them once you beat the story if you want to, just to get a little bit quick fix of crazy mayhem. But it's awesome how you can explore the city, and they're in the free mode as well, where you can just go around the city and look for these arcades, and you know there's different ones and they all do different things. So that is a quick look into this game, guys, into Shakedown Hawaii. I'm gonna continue playing this game here, and we'll come back once I'm done playing it and get to the table, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts on it. Let's go ahead and get into it. Alright guys, so that was Shakedown Hawaii on the Nintendo Switch, and man, is this game a lot of fun. If you guys couldn't tell from the previous gameplay that I showed you guys, this game has a lot going on for it. I tried to give you a little bit before in the gameplay, a little bit of what was in there and a little bit of the challenges that I played, some of the missions and stuff like that. After I was done with that, obviously in the last couple of days I've been playing even more of the game, and this game really shines. So let's start with the differences between what they did in their previous game for you guys who don't know, and what this game is now. So basically a game came out about 6 years ago called Retro City Rampage. People fell in love with it. It was basically an 8-bit open world GTA game where you basically run around and you had a whole city to explore, and you did main missions and there were side missions, and it was the thing that game had going for it was that it was all built on like the 80s vibe. So you would go down the street and you would see a DeLorean from Back to the Future. So you would see that. You would see the Ninja Turtles van roaming around. So you would see all these cool vehicles from the 80s, a lot of 80s references. The little story that it did have, it was obviously geared towards 80s references and stuff like that. So seeing all these pop culture references from everything we all grew up with was a lot of fun to see. And that's what that game had. 6 years later, they're back with a new version of this, or reformulated formula of the game for them. And this is a 16-bit era game that they now did. So instead of 8-bit, it is now 16-bit. It's done in like the Super Nintendo style, basically, is what they said that they were going for. And instead of being like this all into the 80s culture and the 80s vibe and stuff like that, now we're all into the business side. So basically, this is way more focused on story than what the old one used to be. This one has a more cohesive story, a more direct story. And basically what it is you are a businessman that is, their business is collapsing and stuff like that because of all these things going around town. As an example, one of the things that they mentioned really very early on is, that they don't mention Amazon by name, but I forget the exact term that they use, but basically they're saying that there's a delivery service out there that's now offering same-day delivery, and it's cutting into their retail profits around the city because obviously people aren't going to retail stores. So one of the things that they tell you to go do is, hey, go take all those delivery trucks and go smash them in so they can't make their deliveries. So it's things like that they're referencing and stuff like that as far as businesses. You're owning properties, you're buying businesses and stuff like that, and they're making references to things like streaming and gaming and gaming commercials and all that kind of stuff that's into the business world nowadays. So those are the key differences between these two titles that they came out with. Besides obviously the graphic style, and let's talk about the graphic style for a minute. I love Retro City Rampage, and I love the 8-bit style they did in this one, but this one just looks so good, and it's so much fun because not only is the style of the game look as good as it does, but they made the environments basically almost all destructible. You saw a little bit of that in the gameplay. You can run through the trees, run through fences, destroy a lot of things. The only thing you can't destroy is buildings themselves, and it's just so much fun to drive around and just sit there and destroy everything and run away from the cops and just mow through everything around. And speaking of the environments, the Hawaii setting really lends itself to a lot of different variety of gameplay in the game. There's the jungle area. There's obviously the beach area. You can go around in a boat and speed across the island that way. There's obviously the city. There's just a very different variety in the location of the Hawaii island, and it's like 3 or 4. I think it's 3 times the size of what the old game used to be in this game. Regardless, the game is huge. You saw a little bit of the map before, as far as all the businesses and stuff you can buy. As far as the gameplay goes, let's talk about the gameplay a little bit. Obviously, the game is structured very similar to what the other one used to be. You have your main missions, but instead of just straight up side missions, the other one just basically told you, hey, M is side missions. M is main missions, S is side missions. Go do them as you please. This game's a little bit different. So M is still your main mission, but now buying businesses is what gives you those side missions. So as I told you before, one of the ones that you could do with the Amazon delivery service thing is you're going to destroy it. One of the early things that you could do as well is you end up buying a car repo service, and once you buy that business, now you can go around the city and get those vehicles and bring them back to that repo center. So it's things like that. When you buy businesses, it opens up more additional options for you to do things around the city that are basically like side missions. So that's how the side missions are structured in this game, which is a little bit different than the other one. As far as other things you could do, there's a lot of hidden collectibles in the game, a lot of hidden secrets and stuff that I'm obviously not going to spoil here. Some of the other things that they used to have in the old game as well as these arcade challenges. Now, they have hidden around the city, there's different mini games. I'm not going to tell you specifically what they are. There's a few mini games around the city. You probably saw one if you saw the gameplay that I did before, that I didn't actually show you, but I saw the storefront that I did check out later, and that basically is a mini game. But besides the mini games that show up randomly in the game, there's also these arcades. So around the city and different parts of the city, there's like 12 or 13 different arcades that you can walk into, and each one of them is like a different mini game that you can play or a different arcade challenge that you can go ahead and play. It gives you, let's say, for example, hey, cause the most amount of destruction in a minute, or destroy as many crates as possible, and it gives you like a rank, like bronze, silver, and gold, depending on how well you do, and you can replay them. You can save your little video shorts. You can share it with your friends and stuff like that, so they can see it. So a lot of replayability in this game, and on top of the fact that they had that free roam that we were talking about before, so you can go into free roam and just roam the city and mess around with the cops, try and escape them, blow things up. Go and find those arcades around here. Go and find those secrets and just do what you will without having to worry about the story missions and stuff like that. They even added, just like the original game, which I really like that they do, they put these arcade challenges on the main menu. So if you just want to boot up this game and you just want to cause major mayhem because you just love the art style and love the gameplay and the way that the guns feel and stuff like that, like I do, and you don't have a lot of time, you can go in there, pop in a couple of arcade challenges right from the main menu and get your fix on this game really quick if you don't want to dive into the story and go find those arcades yourself. A couple of negatives that I would say about the game, especially when you're looking at the old game. The thing that, one of the small nitpicks that I have, obviously in the original game, like I told you, it was more based on 80s themes, so it was very easy for them to go in the city and add like the DeLorean and those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle like cars roaming around the city, which is really cool to see when you're an 80s, 80s or 90s kid and referencing all these pop references. But in this game, obviously it's more about businesses, like we talked about before. So obviously the vehicles in the game are obviously more generic because they can't do anything with the vehicles or anything like that around the city that are going to, play to that. So I think the 80s vibe lended them a little bit more, creativity in some of the stuff in the open world. But it more than makes up for it with the fact of the art design of the game and destructibility, in my opinion. One of the other gripes I had with the game is the main missions themselves are very cut to the chase, go from A to B and go kill this thing or go destroy this thing. It's basically set up the same way for all the main missions. You're just going to different locations around the island. The thing that makes this game and go over the top for me, since the main missions are a little bit repetitive after a while, even though it's fun because of the style of gameplay and stuff like that, is those businesses and all those properties that you're buying, because they open up all those side missions that you can do, and then they open up all those arcade challenges around the city, and then all the collectibles that you can find, all the small some of the mini games you can find around the city, the Easter eggs that are around the city. All those things combine into a package that's so much fun to play and doesn't become repetitive because of that. If you just go all the main missions and you never do any of the side stuff, then sometimes you may get a little bit like, hey, this is a little bit repetitive because I did 20 missions and they're kind of just A to B and do this, do that over and over again. But you do some of the main missions, you go and buy some of the properties, and that opens up more side possibilities. Then you go around and do some of the arcade stuff. You find some secrets. You mess around with the cops. There's a lot of things to do in this game and a lot of outstanding replayability that this game is going to offer. And I'll be playing this game for a long time to come, right alongside their original game that I'm still playing to this day, 6 years later, because there's so many cool stuff and challenges in that game and a lot of cool stuff to see in that game as well. So guys, that is basically Shakedown Hawaii. Talking to the developer, he hopes to be able to add more content into this game. So I'm hoping that they do. I hope that they add more arcade challenges if they can, or more little mini games and stuff like that into the city. I don't think they need to add any main missions. They don't need to go crazy if they don't want to. But they can obviously explore some more arcade games in the game and some more mini games to throw in there. Give you more stuff to do around the city, basically. Oh, and something to mention that's really extraordinary in this game that I mentioned when I was doing the gameplay. There's over 200 enterable buildings in this game, and they're all so much fun to go into because they're all so very different. You don't know what you're going to find. You can go in there and a character is in there and you get to talk to them, or sometimes they try to kill you, sometimes they try to rob you. And when you go into their open houses, and there's all these cafes you can go into, all these different environments to go into. They did a really good job with that, and there's just so many buildings to explore and stuff like that. So that's another highlight for me in the game that I almost forgot to mention that I really like about this game. That's brought tenfold compared to the older game. So guys, this game is $19.99. It's available on PS4, on the Nintendo Switch, on PC, and the PS Vita. One of the last games that's probably going to come to the Vita. So definitely support them if you have a Vita, if you want to get it from me. Like I said, the game is $19.99. Guys, if you guys are even a little bit interested in open GTA world gameplay style like GTA 1 and GTA 2, and like the art style that you guys are seeing on here, you guys owe it to yourself to check this game out, because this game is outstanding and it was well worth the wait that we were waiting for so long for this game. And if you haven't played the original Retro City Rampage, buy that game too. It's also on the Vita and also on the Switch as well and all the other consoles. So get them both, because they offer very different styles of gameplay, one 8-bit, one in 16-bit, and you're going to have a hell of a lot of gameplay with both of those games at your side. So guys, if you guys have any questions about anything you guys have seen here today, of course, as usual, leave your questions down below. If not, thank you guys for watching.
Gaming Techie, Gaming Tech, eating brekkie is the Gaming Tech, going for a brekkie is the Gaming Tech, Gaming Techie is the Gaming Tech, Gaming Techie.